Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new playthrough. This is Hard West and I have a helper like we did with XCOM, but instead of Malinka I have Bartmoss with me. Hello.
Howdy, partner.
Howdy. I have got my 6-shooter ready as we're going to play a Wild West themed kind of XCOM-like game. So it should be kind of cool. I've played a bit of it, so I got some of the basics down. And I'm just going to go and set up a game. So, actually I can do it on screen. It's fine. See how I've started it, but we're going to restart the first scenario again. And just because there's a lot of weird mechanics going on with this game, I'm going to set it to easy for now, and I might adjust it later or for another scenario. But just for now, because there's some weirdness about this game, and I'll explain why it's not quite like XCOM in a bit.
The Old West was a hard place. The only thing in abundance was poverty and firearms. Combine alcohol and hopelessness with greed, envy, lust, and pride, and death is often the result. Crude cabins stood alone in the wilderness, cut off from the outside world. People knew to mind their own business, but isolated, they grew ignorant and superstitious. Some said the devil walked the earth, said lost souls haunted and possessed the living, pushing them past the edge of sanity. In this harsh and dangerous country, no one had it easy, including your family. You were 6 years old when you traveled the Oregon Trail with your mother and father. Food was scarce, and your father, despite being a fine tracker and a crack shot, failed to find any game. It was as if every animal on the trail was spooked by some evil force. Your old man found a small village and tried to trade equipment for food, but this village was overrun by outlaws. They took your mother and decided to trade you and your father to white slavers. But he managed to break free, told you to hide, and set out to save her.
So, we've got to find our lost mummy. That's fine.
No, Mama.
They took mother away. Could father still play her? Save her? Sorry. So one of the big mechanics that isn't in this game is there's no Overwatch. But the enemy do have a kind of Overwatch, but you don't. And there's a lot of complaints about the fact this game doesn't have Overwatch. But to be honest, it's fine. All it does is it adjusts your playstyle, and it's self-balanced within itself. So whilst you think, oh, it's not fair, you'll understand it actually is, because the demonic powers and stuff that you have, or the extra abilities that you have, your opponents don't. We'll go through the tutorial, even though I know how to play it, but it'll just be easier and a reminder to some. So turn-based game, just like XCOM. In this mission, your father must rescue your mother, who's been kidnapped by evil men. I'm going to go over the screen a little bit, although I think it might do that anyway. So, yeah, we can move within the first range, very much like XCOM, and we've got our cover mechanics, just like XCOM. So there's solid cover, or in some places there is half cover, like this tree log. Now, you might think that this tent would provide cover, but it doesn't, because it's canvas and doesn't provide any stopping power for bullets.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you rotate the screen, just out of interest?
I can, but not yet in the tutorial. But yeah,
okay.
Yeah. We've detected an enemy. All characters marked with red shield icons are enemies. And this one is out of cover, so my shot will be effective. And we've got a shoot button down there. Over here is a range indicator, so I can put my cursor around and it will show my range. And that's important because different weapons, although this particular one doesn't really, is only a short range, but it means that I'll get bonuses with a pistol to shoot anything in the green range. This is kind of rifle range, and then the red would be like sniper range. So that's the range indicator there. We've got a luck stat that will be explained later, but it's really important in this game how that works. And hit points here. And we've got action points. We had 2 of these stars, we're down to 1. So like XCOM, we have 2 abilities, but some use up both. Like shooting, for example, if you shoot, it will use up all your action points that you have left. So you can move and shoot, or shoot and that's it. You can't shoot and then move. Okay.
Very much like XCOM.
So here it says I've got a 70% chance to hit, and the damage is 4. But this isn't RNG. It says a 70% chance to hit, but that's not how this game works. And I want to explain it, just because it will make a bit more sense as we go through. I don't know if the more info is going to be able to help, but my percentage is based on my aim. The distance is increases the percentage, and then the defense of someone. So all of those changes the chance to hit. So if you have high defense, then it decreases their chance to hit, and these are bonuses for it. So that's part of how that 70% comes up. And the odds of me actually hitting that 70% isn't a roll of a dice. This, like I have, has a luck stat. And this, although the luck stat of enemies is hidden, it's randomized at the beginning of the game. So, for instance, if this guy had 60% luck, then this is a definite hit. If he has 80 luck, then it's a definite miss. If that makes sense.
Yes.
So if I hit confirm now, it's just going to shoot, and it's had less than 70, so
it just compares your hit chance with the enemy's luck, and then that determines whether you hit or not. Seems fairly straightforward.
Yeah, that's never explained anywhere, by the way. That I got off of the developer who explained that one. So each character has a certain amount of luck. High luck protects from enemy shots. When they miss, luck is depleted. So he shot at me, but missed, and my luck went down to 60 out of 100. So, and the same is true of enemies. So if I miss an enemy, their luck stat goes down. So now for this guy to hit me a second time, or anyone to hit me now, they only need a percentage chance to hit of 60%, and then they can hit me.
Yeah.
So this guy's in cover. Now cover does not affect the chance to hit. I don't think I can shoot because it's a tutorial. But what it does do is affect the damage of my weapon. Can I go into here? Yeah, I can. So if I check my damage here, by default I do 4 damage. If it's in half cover, I do 2 damage, and if it's in full cover, I do 1 damage. So it affects your damage rather than your chance to hit, which is a bit different from XCOM.
Yes.
So right now he's considered in full cover, and if I shot him, it'd only do 1 damage. But I can flank him, so I can come over to here. Now he would be considered to not be in any cover, and now I'll be doing, if my successful shot, well, I'm close enough because as it happens, if you're within 5 squares of an enemy, you get 100% chance to hit at all times. So now that I've got that, the damage is definitely 4 because I've flanked him, and 100% chance to hit, he's dead. It's a very stat-based game compared to others, but you know. And I've got to reload my weaponry. So there we go. That was the ammo's listed here. Right, here's something new. Now, in broad daylight, we can locate enemies by their shadows. You can shoot them if you have an unobstructed line of fire. Some materials like cloth or foliage can be shot through. So, for instance, if it wasn't for the shadows, the cover provided by this tent would be sight cover rather than cover to reduce the damage that you take. So if it wasn't for the shadows, I wouldn't have been able to see this guy, and therefore I couldn't shoot at him. But I can see his shadow because of its daytime, which is indicated over here. And he's got a shadow here. I can see that he's there. So I can shoot him. 60% chance to hit. So hopefully if his luck stat is low enough, I can hit him. And he's dead. Good.
Boom.
Cool. So he's hit me, shot at me again, and I'm pretty much out of luck. I've only got 17, so I know that next turn I'm definitely. If anyone shoots at me, I'm almost definitely going to take damage. So what I need to do at this point is make sure that if I do take damage, I take reduced damage by putting myself into cover. So I can do that. In this case. I'm going to come over here. Now it looks as if this is half cover, but there's a mechanic in this game where I can use the objects around me, which I'm about to do, and I can flip this up, and now I've got full cover because I've lifted that up. So now instead of taking 2 damage in half cover, I take 1 damage.
Yeah. It's a cool system, actually.
Yeah. And when I take a hit, my luck stat gets massively increased again. So now I'm up to 77. Okay. And now it's telling me here's an ability I can try. So my chance to hit is 29%, and the guy is in full cover back here. So each shot is only going to do 1 damage. So this is why to use fanning would be good. Because if I use a normal single shot, he's in full cover, I do 1 damage, and that'll be it. But with this ability, I can fire 3 shots. I do get a minus 20% aim penalty. So if I take a look at Wyatt, so I've had a 65% chance to hit on this one. Minus 20% for that. It was in with the 15%. It was in the smaller range, indicated over here. The Outlaw was in defense and in full cover. Oh, it does affect your chance to hit then. Okay, I didn't realise that. So cover does affect their chance to hit a bit, I guess. Does it through here? I didn't realise that. That's fine. But anyway, 29% chance. It's pretty low, but only need 2 of these shots to hit, which 2 of them does. So yeah, now we're done with the tutorial, and we can just run in here. Should be fine.
She was nowhere to be found. He saw the box. What was in it?
What's in the box?
Yep, so interactive objects, you can just
simple
use
wooden
them.
box contained a head. Your mother's head.
Well,
Afterwards, your father found one of the gunmen still alive. The dying man rambled on about some unholy obligation, about promises
much for
made
that.
by the devil himself, and the rewards they would find in hell.
well, that didn't turn out well. Well, that's part of the story. We didn't have any control over that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the XCOM style part of the game. So in XCOM, what you would then do is you'd have like your base screen, and you'll be hiring soldiers, blah blah blah. This game is different.
You and your father were alive, but all your supplies were destroyed. No way you'd make it to Oregon now. Your father decided to stay put and build a life right there. Many years passed, and you grew up. You became a man.
So yeah, this game's different. In between fights, we have like a choose your own adventure type thing going on, which is kind of cool. It's quite fun to do. The other thing that just happened is Warren joined the group. I guess it's the son, and we got some cards, but that'll probably come next episode. But I'll show the cards then. Let's do some choose your own adventure, shall we?
Yes.
Cool. So the 2 of you took over the ruined railroad company buildings and tried our hands at farming.
Huh.
The soil was dry and the land was dangerous. You spent 10 long years scratching out an existence from the dirt. Now you are grown, you figured the 2 of us should try for Oregon again. It's what Mother would have wanted.
We shall honor her memory.
Yeah. How well can you read this on your screen, Niels?
It works pretty well, actually. Yeah.
So in theory, you could read some of these.
I could, yes, but I'm not really a voice actor, so...
Well, neither am I. Maybe later. All right, I'll carry on for now.
If there's a character named the Dutch, I'll do it.
I don't think there is, but I'll let you know. Gold. Who would have thought they'd find it here, and just when you needed cash for your journey? Time to strike it rich and get out of town before the outlaws and madmen show up. They always do.
Well, if there's gold involved, who wouldn't?
Exactly. The masked man controlled all the gold mining. His henchman sold you a license that lets us run 9 prospecting operations.
Well, gotta stick to the license, right? I mean, who would be a wild prospector and just, disobey the law? Not us. No, siree.
Absolutely. So we can do 9 mining operations. I can tell you there's 3 different types of mining operations. There's shallow placer gold tools mining, which is like sifting for gold. You know, where they have the sieve and they shake it over a river?
Yes. The classic stereotypical thing that you always see in the movies, really.
Yeah. Well, really, I think the reason they did that was to divine whether or not there's even gold in the region. So you go into, I mean, it's still worth a bit of money, so it's still worth doing. But, the idea of it mostly was to find bigger gold deposits.
Well, how it works is because this gold is heavier than sand and stuff, it separates out by that. And they actually did do that to gather the gold dust, because it adds up fairly quickly, right?
Yeah, well, just like they recycle mobile phones because there's like a ton of gold used in electronics of mobile phones.
Yeah, and other valuable materials, yeah.
And so they do a similar method, although they heat the components up. And then once they've heated all the components up and broken them down, they do the same kind of thing of shaking it out like a sieve. I've seen the process. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the game. Then we've got deeper gold tools. That's just a pickaxe and a shovel. And I guess hard rock stuff is, using mechanical equipment to...
Building like a tunnel in the mine, I guess, because it's the hard head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's other things that we can do. There's mercury way of using chemicals to separate the gold from the rock by, using a chemical process to separate it. I think that was used back in the day, but it's kind of poisonous, so it wasn't particular poison.
Yeah, they still do that in like South America and Africa, and mostly in illegal mines. It's a huge environmental problem.
Cool. I didn't know that it was still in use. Then obviously a drill, that's obvious. A stamp mill. Do you know what a stamp mill is?
I'm guessing that's to produce like bars and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I can see that. And then hydrojet, I assume that's a way of blasting water at rock to...
Yeah, or if this is for mining, maybe it's like a table that shakes mechanically or something like that. I don't know. But stamping mill is really, to like metal sheets and stuff, isn't it?
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
You're the Brit. I'm the foreigner. I don't know the language.
Well, it's not like we have gold in the UK. It's not like I can go sifting for gold in Oxford or London.
Oh.
Just down by the River Thames with my little sieve. I'm sure that would work well.
As long as you have a license.
Apparently. Everyone said there was placer gold down in the ditch, but most of it was buried deep under hard rock. So it's telling us here on here is that the hard rock deposit's going to fetch me more, but I'll still get something. So 15 gave me $31, but it cost me 15, so I get $16 profit. That's fine. That's cool. And now I've got the extra money, I can try for deeper gold. So let's try that, see what happens. Not so good that time. Spent 40, gained 42. I get extra $2 out of that.
Oh, at least we broke even, right?
Well, yeah, that's true.
We can't afford the really deep mining.
Yeah, and the other one it said there was using unconventional extraction methods. I haven't got any of those yet. That's what these indicators are for.
We'll come back for that later, I guess.
Yeah, let's go to the meadow.
So did this count as one use? Oh no, there was
Two.
two. All
Two
right. So
uses.
each attempt actually is not each side. It's each attempt costs us 1 license. Okay.
You notice a young native woman. Avoid being racist there, I guess. You notice a young native woman with a basket, picking flowers and carefully selecting herbs. Initially startled by your arrival, she then offered you healing herbs instead. So we can either look at the basket and look for healing herbs ourselves, or buy the herbs with our gold that we have. What do you want to do?
We don't have a lot of money right now, so I mean, normally I would totally do that, support local industry and all that. But we only have 53 gold, and I think we should be maybe a bit.
Yeah, and it costs money to mine in the first place.
Yeah, so we should be careful about that and maybe just start looking.
Okay, we can try that. Observant and lucky, we picked the correct herbs.
Yay!
Our initial luck, because we used some of it as a resource, went down by 30. So when we start our next one, we'll have less luck to start the game with. That's fine. But we did get 3 healing herbs. So that's good.
Okay. Yeah, so that's useful. So we lose luck, we will get hit, and then we need the healing herbs to heal ourselves.
But then we got 2 extra healing herbs afterwards as profit, effectively, I guess.
Hopefully work out.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
We had a huge amount of choice with our limited funds and all.
Yeah, so let's go to the neighbour's house. So it looks like the nearby farmhouse is inhabited. Is that what, inhabited? Inhabited. Yeah. Sorry.
As I said, you're the native speaker. So.
Inhabited. There's a lot of tits in my version. Anyway, mostly me being the first tit. You paid them a visit and they turned out to be kind people.
Oh.
We exchanged pleasantries, how do you do's and cup of tea.
Some scones, yeah.
And the customary promises to help one another. What? Do you really do that when you meet your neighbours?
Well, I mean, if you live in a wild and anarchic place like the Wild West or Berlin, then yeah, you kind of do that, right? You form up mutual defense teams, like a militia. And if the bandits come, then you hope that your neighbor is good on his word.
So you're suggesting it's more like a neighbourhood watch?
Yeah, kind of.
More importantly, we met Florence, their beautiful, kind-hearted daughter. All you exchanged were a few glances, but you found yourself smitten. Oh God!
That's because all the tits that you put in there, right?
That's absolutely. Well, obviously, the more tits, the better.
Oh my God, we're gonna go to hell for this. But all right, never mind.
Appropriate for this game. Anyway, love at first sight. Not interested in prospecting themselves, they do tip you off about a couple of promising spots.
Oh, that's very kind of them.
Laid eyes on Florence. She was all you could think about. It wasn't just desire that she inspired in you.
What is it called?
It was the way she
Prospectus
saw the best in
Camp.
you, the way she
Damp
made you
mine.
feel.
What is that? Forbes Shaft? That's.
Yeah, the reason I was quiet there and I was pointing at a thing, when that thing comes up on the side, means there's voice work going on.
Sorry.
That's right. That's why I didn't reply. So yeah, there's a damp mine, a prospector's camp, and a collapsed mine here. So let's go to the collapsed mine first.
Okay. Do we have the equipment to handle that?
Well, probably not, but you know, no pain, no gain, I guess.
Okay, you carry the heavy rocks. I'll supervise.
Okay. So we heard about this place, a rich mine that collapsed years ago on top of a bunch of miners, burying them alive. Their wives and children still decorate the entrance with flowers. It looks like you could squeeze in, maybe get some of the gold they found. So
do we really want to disturb the dead, though? It sounds like something else, maybe not so wise. I don't know.
Maybe, but we are skint and a little bit desperate. So it might not have been the smartest thing to do, but we do get in. And we get a blood-stained shirt in our inventory. As we reached the first opening, we found a skeleton with its legs crushed under a boulder. Oh, he had a bad day. You wonder if he bled out before he died of thirst. His shirt, though stained, was still intact and very good quality. Now we can go deeper or go back to the surface.
So this is gonna look like a tie-dyed shirt, I guess, right?
I guess so. Let's go deeper. We're going deeper.
Are you sure?
Underground. Yeah.
We don't even have a cannery with us.
A cannery?
Yeah, you know.
Oh, a canary.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I was thinking, I didn't think you stored gold in cans. But yeah.
Oh, you could.
You can store gold in canaries as well, I guess.
Well, yeah, feed it to them. Oh.
But yeah, I'm going in anyway. So we get 43 gold and some sturdy shoes. I'm not quite sure who left the shoes there, but the next cavern was cramped and full of stale air. You found a little gold, but not much. And then we can go deeper or go back to the surface.
I'm scared of tight places, but I can sort of see that you're trying to push your luck here. So sure, go ahead.
I am, and yeah, that's fine. Wounded and weary, we eventually reach the end of. Oh Jesus! Okay, the end of the furthest tunnel, and there inside a massive stash of gold. The air must have poisoned you because you went to pick it up. You hallucinated a tall man in a suit, smiling and smoking. As you turned to leave, he said, "Just so we're clear, that's mine, but you can borrow it a while." And
Great job. We have hallucinations. We're wounded. You stole the dead man's possessions, which is never a good thing.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, this just. Yeah.
It was all too much. We headed back to the surface. Now, I did that on purpose. I'll explain it in a second. As you inch your way back to the sunlight, you heard a low rumbling all around you. Your hurried hands trembling, heavy drops of sweat rolling down your face. You'd just emerged, blinking into the sunlight, when the mine collapsed behind you. So that's the end of that. So let me explain a few things that happened here. It's a little bit of a risk that we went through, but that's fine. So one thing here is the immediate result of this is that we get a spine fracture. It's just not the best.
Well done.
Seems a bit harsh, actually.
Well done. Yes.
Back injury causes stiffness and makes movement difficult. So we get decreased movement and -1 max hit point. And we've got our luck already decreased from before. Mm-hmm. But we got this relic. Now, relics are special items in this game. It normally requires you to take heavy risks in the choose your own adventure thing to be able to retrieve relics. And it's the only thing between... so at the beginning you saw me pick a scenario. Now, when a scenario is effectively a collection of a small amount of missions, we play through those missions and that kind of chapter of the story is over.
Yeah.
And the only thing that you take between chapters is relics. And the relics, anything you find in a previous chapter is then, I think, sold in a shop in later chapters. But you have to discover the relics first. So that for them to come, and they're always very powerful, but they also give you something quite bad as a consequence of going for it. But usually the payoff is worth it.
Okay. And this thing, I saw the mouse over thing. It heals allies over time. So I guess that's nice to have.
Yeah, in a radius. I think you throw the relic. So I think it's a usable object. You chuck it, and it smashes and gives everyone an AOE kind of hot heal over time. So
okay, but it's not the one-time use thing, I guess.
Yeah, and the card screen I'm going to save to actually on the next mission. I think that's we can start the next episode with a little bit more choose your own adventure before we actually go into a mission. But I think it's probably a good length for a first introduction, don't you?
Yes.
So, hopefully you're enjoying it. Let me know in the comments whether or not you're enjoying the game. And from me and Bartmoss, thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you guys.